on Orion Neighborhood Television. Tonight we will meet your local candidates for Township Supervisor, Treasurer, Trustee, and Clerk for the upcoming August 7th primary. Tonight's program is brought to you by Orion Neighborhood Television and by the Orion Area Chamber of Commerce. If you have questions for the candidates, call us at 248-393-1024 or email your questions to info@orionareachamber.com. Now let's head out to the studio for the Candidates Forum.
Good evening to our viewers at home and here in the studio with us this evening. Thank you for tuning in. I'm Alaina Campbell, the Executive Director for the Orion Area Chamber of Commerce. Serving Lake Orion and Orion Township since 1950, the Chamber's mission is to advance the general welfare and prosperity of the greater Orion area. We hope this forum will raise public awareness, increase participation in the democratic process, and encourage members of the community to involve themselves in public service. Candidates will be presented tonight in the following order. We'll begin with the candidates for trustee, then move on to clerk, treasurer, and conclude with the position of supervisor. If you have questions that you would like to ask the candidates, we have a line that you can call in on. The number is 248-393-1024. Or you can email your question to info@orionareachamber.com. We have a chamber board member, Tammy Harala from Chief Financial Credit Union, taking phone calls and monitoring those emails. Our moderator this evening will be chamber board member Jim Porritt, and taking questions from the audience will be another board member, Carl Cyrowski. Jim, I'll turn it over to you now.
Thank you, Alaina. In this first segment tonight, we're going to be dealing with the candidates for office of Township Trustee. As it happens, there are 4 slots available, and we have 4 candidates. For that reason, and because we want to be able to emphasize questions for those who actually have contested races, the candidates for Township Trustee are going to be limited to giving a 2-minute introduction, and then we'll go on to ask questions in the cases where those people are being contested. Our candidates tonight are Michael Flood, Jr., Neal Porter, Donnie Steele, and John Steimel. Mr. Flood, if you would begin, please.
Yeah. Thank you, Jim. Hello, I'm Orion Township Trustee Michael Flood, and I have served in this capacity for the past year. And it was exactly 1 year ago that the board appointed me to fill the vacated trustee's position for an original list of 13 candidates who have showed an interest in filling this vacancy. And tonight you can see there's only 4 left. In a short period of time, I've taken the initiative to further educate myself in the duties and responsibilities serving as Orion Township Trustee by enrolling and attending numerous educational training classes and seminars that are sponsored by the Michigan Township Association. Like so many other individuals and families in our great community, myself and my family are long life residents here, and we've served the community for numerous years in various capacities. My professional educational background, I graduated from Lake Orion High School in 1966 with Mr. Jim here. I retired skilled trades from General Motors Truck, and I did 40 years of service. And in that 40 years, I served both capacity as hourly and salary. I have numerous degrees in my trades, and I'm a licensed engineer in my trade, and I attended Oakland University also taking full management training classes sponsored by GM Truck. Lastly, I'm really proud of my family, because family is what it's all about when you live in Lake Orion. My beautiful wife Lillian and I have a daughter, Kristen Trainer, whom, by the way, is on the ballot running for the Republican 10th Precinct delegate candidate. I have 2 grandchildren, Austin McGee, just finished 9th grade, and a 5-year-old granddaughter who's excited about attending Stadium Elementary next year. And one final thing, my wife and I will be celebrating our 43rd wedding anniversary next week. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Flood. Although you could have left out the comment about the year I graduated. Mr. Porter, please.
Nice job, Mike. Good evening. My name is Neal Porter. I've been a resident of Orion Township for 42 years. My wife's lived here a little bit longer, but she won't allow me to tell you how long. We have raised our 2 children here. We are devoted to Orion. I am vice president of my church board of directors. I'm an avid car collector. I am an Orion Township business owner. I'm Vice President of the Orion Veterans Memorial. I've been a trustee for 6 years. I sit on the Capital Improvement Committee, Union Negotiating Committee, the Safety Path Committee, the Election Commission, and the Sign Committee. I consider my duty as trustee to help make Orion the place to not only raise our children, but also to stay here and retire. In order to accomplish this, we need good recreation, good schools, and good infrastructure. But we need to be conservative with our tax dollars in order to afford to raise our children and retire here. I want to be the conservative voice to get the job done. As trustees, we must create an atmosphere that is conducive to providing jobs and conserve our resources. We need to be on the cutting edge of new ideas. Orion needs to be a leader and not a follower. I want your support so I can be a participant on the team that leads the way. And thank you, Orion Chamber.
Thank you, Neal. Donnie?
Thanks, Jim, for having me here tonight. My name is Donnie Steele, and I have lived and worked in Lake Orion my entire life. I graduated from Lake Orion High School 1982, and I went to college at Western Michigan, where I earned my bachelor's administration and management degree. After graduating college, I spent my entire career working as a real estate agent and a broker and part owner of a real estate company, Coldwell Banker Shults in Oxford. I have been manager, and I was a broker, and also I had been involved in a lot of developing and building and rehabbing houses in the area as well too. Presently I have 2 boys, one in elementary school and one in middle school, and both of them go to Lake Orion. I plan on living and being in this area until they graduate for, about another 10 years or so. When I was in business 5 years ago, and I have left the business where I was active for a lot of years, and I have immersed myself in the community in a lot of activities, being a part of the Safety Path Committee, the PTO, slinging pizza at the PTO festivals and the fairs, working as room mothers, working as football stands to help raise money, and I've learned a different part of this community where it's the younger part, the younger community with younger kids, and it's a whole part that I had not been a part of while I was working in real estate. And I think that I can offer something of a different perspective to the community with my business background and also having young kids. And I appreciate the opportunity to talk about myself. Thank you.
Thank you, Donnie. Mr. Steimel, please.
Thanks, Jim. This is going in now. I'm in my 8th year as being a trustee here in the township. Before that, I was chairman of the Planning Commission for several years, and then before that, I served on soccer boards here in the township. So I've been involved in the community for quite a while. And it's kind of funny because I've got a bunch of people that I sit down with at lunch where I work at Fanuc Robotics, and they ask me, why do you do that? And I got to tell you, sometimes it has its ups and downs. You know, there's times when I question myself too. Why the heck am I doing this? But I get to meet a lot of people. I think from, 8 years ago when I started this thing, I would have been tough to know many people, but now I know a lot more people in the township. That's the part I really like. I really enjoy getting out and talking to people. I'm kind of contradictory. I do like talking to people in the community because I think it's important for us, because that's how we know we're trying to represent you and what your feelings are. However, by the same time, I'm very uncomfortable knocking on doors and calling people, so it's kind of a contradiction there, but that's part of what you do. I would say, if you've watched a lot of the meetings, I'm going to easily say I'm probably one of the more fiscally conservative people on the board at times. Some might call me overly miserly, but I know how hard it is to make money and to raise your family. And I've raised 2 kids. They both are out. Chris has graduated. He's living in California now. Jackie's still going to Oakland. It's so it's hard. I consider that, though, when everything we do when we're spending money, it's important. The other problem is, you need people here who will make decisions. Because sometimes you do. You can talk for a while, but at some point you have to make a decision. That's where this job can get tough. I know that sometimes decisions we make, not everybody can be happy, but that's part goes along with the territory, and that's part of the job. And I would think you'd want leaders that will listen to things, look at the facts, and then make a decision and move forward. Thank you for having us here tonight.
Thank you, John. That concludes our first segment. We're going to take a break now and set up for the next part of our program. Thank you.
We'll be back after this brief timeout. You're watching the Candidates Forum on Orion Neighborhood Television. On August 7th, Orion Township voters will be asked to vote on a couple of public safety millage proposals. Voters will be asked to renew the existing millage for police funding in the township for a period of 4 years. A property with a taxable value of $50,000 would be taxed at $99.16 and would generate $2.4 million in its first year. In addition to the renewal, voters will be asked to approve a millage increase in a separate ballot proposal. The township is asking for an increase of 1.0168 mils for a period of 4 years. This would generate $1.2 million in its first year. A property with a taxable value of $50,000 would be taxed at $50.84 for this millage. Since 1952, police services in the township have been contracted with the Oakland County Sheriff's Department. The Orion substation relies on nearly 2 mills to operate. On August 7th, voters will also be asked to renew the existing fire department millage of .9916 for a period of 4 years. This millage renewal will generate almost $1.3 million in its first year. A property with a taxable value of $50,000 would be taxed at $49.58 for the millage. The Orion Township Fire Department operates 4 stations within the 36 square miles that make up the township. The millage renewal would fund the purchase of new equipment and buildings and offer fire service to the township and the village of Lake Orion. All ballot proposals, if passed, would take effect in December 2012.
Oh, sorry. Welcome back to our second segment. In this segment, we're going to be introducing Penny Shults, who is the candidate and the only candidate for the township clerk, and we'll also be moving on when she's done to introductions of our 2 candidates for the office of township treasurer, Mark Thurber and Alice Young. Running again for township clerk is Penny Shults. Apparently nobody thought to run against you, Penny. Would you give us your introduction, please?
Thank you, Jim. Hi, I'm Penny Shults, your Orion Township Clerk. Thank you so much for this opportunity to meet with all of you this evening. What a blessing it is to have served as your clerk for these past 4 years. I began working for Orion Township in 1989 in the assessor's office. Working for Orion Township for the past 2 decades has provided an overall perspective on important issues facing our community. I will continue to build on the experience and knowledge gained over these years to serve the residents of our community with excellence. Orion Township is financially sound. We remain fiscally responsible to maintain our strong position in light of a declining economy. I work diligently to ensure we manage township funds prudently by making informed decisions. Working with federal, state, and county agencies prepared me to face the challenges of managing our resources wisely. Having worked with the assessor's office since 1989, I had a full understanding of the impact that declining property values would have on Orion Township's financial stability. In the first year of my term as clerk, I began to look for ways to bring additional revenue to the general fund by cutting our energy costs and working with the state of Michigan to conduct energy efficiency audits. I worked diligently to promote the 2010 census and increased awareness of the impact of a complete census count, and appealed over 100 property addresses with the U.S. Census Department. 90 of those addresses were reinstated. Local governments have a unique position to take advantage of the wisdom of crowds. By engaging citizens in public discussion, we can bring enormous benefits to the community as a whole. Although I'm honored to have been given this opportunity to serve as your clerk, I do not rest on past success. It has been a very productive 4-year term, but I'm not satisfied. I want to serve the community better in every way possible. I am dedicated to the residents of this great community, and I want to hear from you to learn ways that we can work together to make Orion Township the best that it can be. Thank you.
Thank you, Penny. Now we'll move on to the office of County Treasurer. Each of the candidates will again be given an opportunity to make a 2-minute introduction, followed by questions that have been posed to the through the audience and from the ONTV program. Mr. Thurber, would you please begin?
Neighbors, many of you have asked why I would want to take on the challenge of becoming our township treasurer. And the answer is simple. 8 years ago, my wife, my newborn son, and I moved to the township. We were overwhelmed by the embrace we received by the community. Quickly, we've really become to learn to appreciate the community, and that's what's inspired me to ask for the privilege of becoming your treasurer and being able to serve the community. I'm very determined to defend our unique culture, our long heritage, and exceptional values that we found here. I want to preserve this for my young children as they grow up and hopefully encourage them to raise their families here as well. Call it what you will, Mayberry of the North or God's Little Acre, this community has come to mean a great deal to me and my family. I've got 3 little ones, 2 of which are at Carpenter Elementary right now. My educational background is in the chemical and engineering fields. I graduated from Oakland University. More recently, I'm in the purchasing and finance department of an automaker, and I must say that I truly feel that having survived the downturn of 2008, the bankruptcies and financial havoc that have ensued could not have prepared me better for a position as your treasurer. Prior to that, I have long management experience in operation of several businesses focusing in research and development and international growth. My management skill and business acumen are considerable, and a city must operate like a business, so that's what I'm bringing to the table. Furthermore, being treasurer is more than just taking care of bills and getting the best money market interest rate. This position should be one of leadership that navigates our township through the financial future that we face. My management style differs from the current administration in that I'm not content to stand still and be complacent. Improvement and accomplishment are part of my nature. Being uninformed and intimidated are not.
Thank you. Alice, would you give us your introduction, please?
Yes. Good evening. I am Alice Young, and I've had the privilege and honor of being your treasurer for almost 8 years and your neighbor for almost a quarter of a century. I am uniquely qualified to continue to serve as your treasurer. I am a CPA with both a bachelor's degree and a master's degree from Wayne State University, and I have over 40 years of public accounting, auditing, and tax experience. Everything from public accounting to local businesses, I have done it all. As your treasurer, I've been able to put my experience to work. One of the first things I did was improve some internal controls to ensure that funds were being monitored correctly in accordance with proper accounting controls. I have also successfully managed Orion Township's approximately $70 million, earning almost $20 million in the almost 8 years of interest and dividends. This wasn't easy to do considering we have suffered through the worst economic downturn since the Depression. Through my fiscally conservative approach, I have helped preserve and protect Orion's assets for future generations. This position requires a lot of technical accounting and procedural experience, and I certainly have those. In addition, I serve on 10 boards, including the Paint Creek Trail, the Pollyant Trail, the Senior Advisory Council, and I remain committed to our area and maintaining it as a wonderful place to live, work, and play. This job is about 2 things, experience and results, and I have both. Please check my website, www.aliceyoungcpa.com, for a comprehensive list of my volunteerism and for more detail on my qualifications and experience. I wish to thank you for being here. I wish to thank those watching, and I wish to thank the Chamber and ONTV for this wonderful opportunity. Thank you.
Now we're going to begin asking the questions that have been submitted. Mr. Thurber, we're going to begin with you. The answers to these questions are to be limited to 1 minute. Then we'll give Alice an opportunity to answer the same question. The first question is, where are you currently employed? Where you are currently employed, are you responsible for handling or overseeing large sums of money?
Oh, absolutely. At present, I'm in the purchasing and finance department at General Motors. I've been there for 6 years, and the sums of money truly dwarf those that would be dealt with at the township. Prior to that, I've had budgetary responsibilities through most of my professional career, handling P&Ls, budgets, forecasts. This sort of thing is day-to-day routine for me.
Thank you. Alice?
What was the question again?
With your current employment, are you handling large sums of money?
Well, yes, I am. And a lot of that money has to be invested in order to get a good return. So that's where I spend a great deal of my time that when I'm in the office, but I'm only in the office part of the time. It's not a 9-to-5 job. It's out dealing with bankers and investment counselors, and it's a wonderful opportunity, and I do enjoy it. So that's about all I can say on that subject.
Okay. Alice, the next question is for you. Can you tell us how many separate funds does the treasurer oversee?
How many separate funds? Whoa. There are, I brought all my financial stuff. We currently have 4 checking accounts, 4 savings accounts, money markets, 4 money market accounts, 5 money market accounts, certificates of deposit, mutual funds from the government securities, and we have a great deal in the Oakland County Investment Pool.
Mr. Thurber, are you familiar with the accounts of the township?
Well, not nearly as familiar as my my opponent, of course, and I'm not sure exactly what the question entailed. Can you read the question again?
Yes. Find it again here. I think flip it over.
How many funds, wasn't it?
Yeah. How many separate funds does the treasurer oversee? I think we're talking like the general fund. For
I
instance,
interpreted that as the general fund, the water and sewer fund, the police fund, the fire fund. There's several special assessment district funds, so somewhere around 10, I guess. But once again, not being entirely familiar with it, those are the ones that I can recall.
Next question is to you, Mr. Thurber. What statutory restrictions or limitations govern the treasurer's authority to invest the township's funds?
Once again, not having had the on-the-job experience and the lengthy time in the position as my opponent, I don't know all the restrictions. I do know that there are restrictions for investments that are carefully outlined by the state. And to add to that, I've had quite a bit of investment experience, not only in commercial property, but also in, personally in mutual funds, money market funds, all sorts, stocks. I'm personally is somewhat of a hobby, keeping track of markets and managing money for actually most of my family.
Alice, did you understand the question?
Would you repeat it, please?
What statutory restrictions or limitations govern the treasurer's authority to invest the township's funds?
Well, we are governed by PA 20, which in turn governs our investment policy, and the investment policy spells out all of the things that we can invest in, and it's all mandated by PA 20. And the board approves the investment policy, and every year I take the investment policy to the board for them to reapprove, reconfirm, and that's it. There are restricted things that we can invest in.
Okay, Alice, next question is for you. The question is, what is your position on mutual funds in regards to the township?
Well, we do have mutual funds. We have about $10 million in mutual funds. And one of the things that they do for us is leverage when the interest rates are low, which is now. And I'm sorry, it was $8 million in mutual funds. Now that the interest rates are way low, some of the CDs are only paying 1/10 of 1%, and we can't earn any interest on any of the checking and savings accounts, then they won't be, they're only insured up to $250,000. So now the mutual funds are paying. They're staying the same. We're getting the same, almost $25,000 a month. And right now we have earned to date $2.6 million on those mutual funds. And they have an unrealized gain of almost $200,000.
Okay. Mr. Thurber, do you have thoughts about the mutual funds in regards to the use of mutual funds for the township?
Well, my opponent is right. Right now, interest rates on CDs and whatnot are paying miserably low rates. I'm familiar with a lot of mutual funds. I'm also familiar that a lot of them are loaded in different ways. And one has to be very cautious of those things. But furthermore, we have to be very conservative about how we invest, especially our principal funds. And I know that there's statutory requirements. Once again, I hope to become much more familiar with these in the near future. In general, I do agree with the use of mutual fund instruments. However, choosing mutual funds is something that can't be taken lightly. Each one has to be evaluated very carefully, and I would hope to consult with several different mutual fund managers and investment managers. Often investors say to diversify is the best way to invest safely, but very few of them say diversify in your investment managers, because they won't want to handle all of it. And I'm kind of a believer in diversifying the managers as well.
Mr. Thurber, this question is for you. Are there changes you would recommend in the manner in which the funds are currently invested by the township?
Absolutely. I don't have specific examples of where I would put different amounts of money right now. It's something that I have to look into. It requires quite a bit of research, as I stated previously. I will state that, for example, in our water and sewer fund, we have a tremendous surplus. It's far out of the guidelines of what's recommended in most communities. And it's something I want to look into, finding out why we have $55 million when we really should have somewhere in the neighborhood of $20 million. So I'm seeing that there's a big chunk of capital there that we could more creatively invest. So that's one thing at the top of my list to look further into.
Alice, are there changes you would recommend in the manner in which the funds are currently invested?
Well, obviously not, or I would make those changes. I would like to comment on Mr. Thurber's answer, though. Those reserves in the water and sewer fund, that's an enterprise fund, which is run like a business. And those funds are really owned by the people that put the funds in there. And the large reserve is on hand for repairs. And if the system broke down, we could actually fix the system, unlike Detroit, which is in trouble when they have a leak. But those funds are handled in an enterprise fund, and they are not owned by the taxpayers of the township. They're owned by the people who paid the money in.
Alice, what role does the treasurer play in developing the township's budget?
Well, of course, I'm responsible for my own budget, for the treasurer's budget. But we do have, we go over the entire budget at many board meetings and workshops before it's actually adopted. And we all 7 of us have input to the budget, and all 7 of us are responsible for voting on the final budget.
Mr. Thurber?
Can you repeat the question?
What role does the township treasurer play in developing the township's budget?
Well, certainly I can't argue with my opponent's answer. She's been doing it for a long time. What I hope to do is take the financial lead in our community, and that doesn't mean snatching the reins away from our board or any other such thing. However, I view the position of treasurer as having the responsibility to spearhead initiatives for business, for proper investment, for balancing the budget, for creating the budget. Every aspect of the budget should be the responsibility, at least for oversee and of the treasurer, as well as provide different alternatives and options.
Okay. Mr. Thurber, this question is again for you. What sources do you or will you rely on for determining sound investments?
I partially answered this before. Once again, diversifying the resources one pulls from, I think, is the best way to make the best comprehensive plan for investment. Meaning, I wouldn't rely on one person or one broker or one advisor. In my personal life, I rely on 4 at present. Compare their answers, their advice. It's just like anything else, is trying to diversify. Nobody has all the right answers. So having to draw from multiple resources is the best safeguard against running into pitfalls or unforeseen circumstances, and protecting the township's funds, just as I would protect my own.
Alice, did you hear the question?
What was that again?
What sources do you rely on for determining sound investments?
Oh, many. I consult with many bankers. I consult with managers of funds. I just have a whole lot of people that I can consult with. I don't know how else to answer that.
Looking for more questions here for the treasurer. Alice, will you support both the millage renewal and increase for the police?
Of course.
Okay. Mr. Thurber?
Well, I'm proud to say that in my past, I'm a strong proponent of security, police, and the military. In fact, I've personally contributed to bringing forth new developments for the police and military in my engineering and background. In fact, I've helped bring non-offensive developments to the market to help protect those who protect us. So I'm a very strong supporter of the police. So I do support maintaining our or improving our current level of police force. At the same time, as a resident, I'm disappointed that I'm going to have to pay more for maintaining the service. And that's where I fault the current administration. I feel that if the current administration had been more forward-looking in building our business base, our tax base, our infrastructure years ago, we wouldn't be faced right now with the choice of having to pay for or for diminishing services and police protection.
Mr. Thurber, what changes would you recommend for the future if you were elected, aside from the investment portfolio, with respect to the Treasurer's Office?
Well, once again, I'm not the type to be complacent. I'm a big proponent of business development. What I want to do is I want to bring the best businesses to our township. That means research centers, medical facilities. I don't want wall-to-wall smokestacks. I want to optimize our business district footprint right now as it stands, fill up vacant buildings, and once again bring, tap into the medical profession that Oakland University's new medical school is going to bring in. Engineering centers. Bring in the best businesses, will bring in the best jobs, which will spawn more businesses, spur housing, and increase our property values. It's all a domino effect, and it just requires good, focused planning.
Thank you. Alice, what changes would you recommend for the future if elected or re-elected?
Well, I agree with everything Mr. Thurber has said, and I think that that we're working toward those ends, and I know there's a lot of exciting things on the table. I know the supervisor can probably speak to them more carefully than I can because she's more involved. But I do agree with everything he said. We do hope to increase our tax base and go from there. And I'm working, of course, in the Treasurer's office also to increase services.
Okay. Alice, what information concerning the township's investments are available online?
I don't think there's anything online, but everything is available in my office. Anything can be FOIA'd. Every time I give a quarterly report to the board, I announce that everything is available. But that's a good suggestion. We should look into that.
Mr. Thurber, are you familiar with what information is available online?
Oh, yes, yes. And that's one thing that I do hope to bring to the office is that we need more transparency in our government. One example is Shelby Township. Shelby Township has the entire budget online. And in fact, it was mandated by our governor that the finances and should be accessible to taxpayers and residents, along with a citizen's guide. And it should have been completed by October of 2011. It's not available in our township. This is something that absolutely needs to change. Without access, without transparency, it's difficult for residents to analyze and understand what we're doing and bring up questions and bring up problems. So I think it's absolutely essential that we change that.
Okay. Mr. Thurber, could you briefly discuss your local government experience and what accounting education and accounting background you have that makes you qualified to be the township treasurer?
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm going to address the accounting part first. Is that I'm not an accountant. I don't aspire to be an accountant. A treasurer does not need to be an accountant. I've been a manager for my entire professional career, and that's what the treasurer needs to do, is to be a manager. There's accountants in the office. They need to be managed. For example, if I surveyed a lot of our communities, the neighboring communities, and I couldn't find a CPA as a treasurer in any of the neighboring communities. Jim Marlowe, somebody, a well-respected member of our community and our government, was treasurer for a long time. He's not a CPA. Andy Dillon, he's the state treasurer. He's not a CPA. So being an accountant isn't an essential part of being a treasurer. It's being a manager. That's what we need. We need a manager.
Okay. Alice, could you briefly describe your educational background and accounting experience?
I have a bachelor's degree. I majored in accounting, and I minored in economics and business law. And I have a master's degree in taxation, both from Wayne State University. I cut my teeth, I like to say I cut my teeth at a Big 8 accounting, international accounting firm of Coopers & Lybrand, which is now PricewaterhouseCoopers. And of course now it's not a Big 8, it's a Big 4 international accounting firms. But I was there for quite some time, and from there I went to into private accounting, a private industry where I was vice president of finance. And I was responsible for all of the accounting, all of the internal departments, accounting, human resources, the pension plan, and the entire clerical staff reported to me. And then I left there and started my own practice. And then one day I got the phone call to please run for treasurer, and I've been here ever since.
Alice, can you tell us how many employees are in the treasurer's department at present time?
At the present time, there are 2 besides myself. We did have 3. I was able to reduce the staff by a third, which is saving us about $50,000 a year. And we are all 3 working a little harder, but we're managing to keep it done. Last year, I came in under budget by $14,000. So added to the $50,000 that we're saving for 2012, my budget will be $64,000 cheaper or less money. So we're running the Treasurer's Department on less than $200,000, including my salary, their 2 salaries, all the benefits, and all of the other expenses. The budget is about $270,000, but we get about $75,000 back as fees for the work that we produce. So that's why we have about $195,000 to run the entire department.
Mr. Thurber, were you familiar with the number of employees in the Treasurer's office? Would make any change there?
There's hardly much I can add to that.
Okay. Mr. Thurber, do you know how much money does the township hold today in each of the funds that you described earlier, the general fund, the sewer and water fund?
Yeah, the general fund is approximately $4.8 million. The sewer fund is approximately $55 million. For this year, the police fund is about $750,000. The fire fund is about $1.8 million, and there's a number of special assessment districts, which I can't memorize those. Most of them are fairly small. So committing all these numbers to memory, unless I'm working with them on a daily basis, is difficult. But I have a general comprehension of what we're looking at for a budget.
Alice, how much money does the township hold in each of the funds?
Well, Mr. Thurber is right on. He's done his homework and he's memorized all the numbers. But I would like to say that through the good stewardship of the current board and the cost-cutting measures that our supervisor has instituted and my own cost measures in my department, we were able to restore $1.3 million to our fund balance this year. We just had our audit report last night, and that was the outcome. And we're very pleased with that.
Got just one last question for the treasurers. Question is, depending on which of you should win, what will you do with your current job, or you with your next employment? Mr. Thurber?
Well, the way I feel about it is that we all devote a tremendous amount of time and effort into our careers. If I can take the big chunk of effort that I'm devoting to my career now and apply it to a job here in my township that matters to my family, and I can help shape the future of where we all live, that's got dividends that don't ring out necessarily in salary or anything else. I can take all that effort that I'm devoting elsewhere and devote it to here where we all live, and do my absolute best in bringing the best to our township and shape the way of our life. And like I said, shape the lives that my children are going to grow up in, and I hope my grandchildren grow up in.
Thank you. Alice?
Should I not win the election, I will be able to spend a lot more time with my volunteerism. I just enjoy that very much. Volunteers are the lifeblood of any community, and I do a lot of it, and I will spend more time with that. I will also be able to spend more time knitting and with my grandchildren, and much more time in this building. This wonderful Orion Center that we have now.
Thank you both very much for your time. That's the conclusion of this segment, and we'll be back in a few minutes with the candidates for supervisor.
We'll be back after this brief timeout. You're watching the Candidates Forum on Orion Neighborhood Television. On August 7th, Orion Township voters will be asked to vote on a couple of public safety millage proposals. Voters will be asked to renew the existing millage for police funding in the township for a period of 4 years. A property with a taxable value of $50,000 would be taxed at $99.16 and would generate $2.4 million in its first year. In addition to the renewal, voters will be asked to approve a millage increase in a separate ballot proposal. The township is asking for an increase of 1.0168 mils for a period of 4 years. This would generate $1.2 million in its first year. A property with a taxable value of $50,000 would be taxed at $50.84 for this millage. Since 1952, police services in the township have been contracted with the Oakland County Sheriff's Department. The Orion substation relies on nearly 2 mills to operate. On August 7th, voters will also be asked to renew the existing fire department millage of .9916 for a period of 4 years. This millage renewal will generate almost $1.3 million in its first year. A property with a taxable value of $50,000 would be taxed at $49.58 for the millage. The Orion Township Fire Department operates 4 stations within the 36 square miles that make up the township. The millage renewal would fund the purchase of new equipment and buildings and offer fire service to the township and the village of Lake Orion. All ballot proposals, if passed, would take effect in December 2012.
Welcome back for the last segment of our program. This is the final segment for the evening. We welcome the candidates now for Township Supervisor, Chris Barnett and JoAnn Van Tassel. Each of you will have 2 minutes for an introductory statement, and then we'll have fielding of questions. The answers to the questions that will be coming to you for 1 minute, and we'll try to rotate it so that each of you will have a chance to be the first to answer a question. Let's begin with Mr. Barnett.
Thank you very much. I want to thank the Chamber for hosting this event. I want to happy to be here at ONTV's new studio, the labor of love that we've been all waiting for. And I want to thank all of you that are watching this tape delay because you chose to watch Justin Verlander live instead of this. But I'm very thrilled to be here. I just want to talk briefly about why me, why now, and my thoughts for Orion Township. We are at a crossroads, in my opinion. These are changing times for our community. The economy is starting to show signs of a rebound, and I really think it's time for innovative leadership. We have an incredible story here to tell in Orion Township. On the way here tonight, I drove by, I think, 12 cars with LO's stickers on the back window. You're hard-pressed to find another community in Oakland County where people sticker the name of their town on their car. I'm going to, over the next half hour or so, I'd love to explain why I think I'm right for the job. But the most important thing I want you to understand is, in these important times, we can't afford to be asleep at the switch. We need to have consensus building. We need to be innovative. We need to look at all options, and we need to do more with less. And I hope that you'll consider me August 7th. I hope I can earn your trust, and I look forward to working hard for Orion Township.
Thank you. Now, JoAnn Van Tassel.
Thank you, Jim. And thank you to the Chamber and to ONTV. I'm proud to have been a member of the Orion Neighborhood Television Board of Directors and very active in helping to bring about this facility here after many years of it being a dream of this organization. I've had the honor and the pleasure of serving the people of this township for a number of years, both at the township and the village level. I've enjoyed thoroughly working with people, meeting with people, helping them address the concerns that are of most importance to them. We've got a lot of important initiatives on the board that I would like to see through to fruition, and I just feel that we've got a great dynamic township that has grown in the time that I've lived here. I've been a part of some of it and just like to be able to continue it and just look forward to working with everybody in the community. There's been a great deal that's been accomplished in the last year that I've had the pleasure of serving as Supervisor of Orion Township. There are new businesses who are interested in coming into the community. There's new residential development on the horizon, but I think the future is bright for Orion, and we are in very sound fiscal state right now. We just need to continue it. Thank you very much.
Now we'll begin with the questions. This is a phoned-in question. We'll begin, Mr. Bishop. What is your opinion of the financial condition of the township?
Thank you for the question. I think I'd like to answer that 2 ways. First off, I think we're we're in decent shape as of today. I know the board has added some money to the fund balance over the past year, but I'd like to take a bigger view. I'd like to take a 30,000 foot snapshot, if you'll humor me. I think that we are not doing enough to promote the incredible things that we have to offer here in this community. And what I mean, when I say that, I mean we need to look at the incredible economic engine that is Oakland County and take advantage of all they have to offer. We're not doing a great job of that. We need to take a look at some of our industrial areas. I'd like to specifically look on the 24 corridor. We have a medical school being built here just 3.6 miles south of our community that they're projecting a $3.2 billion impact on our local economy. I think we would be crazy if we didn't look at some emerging sector, high-tech, life science type businesses that we could try to bring into our community. So thank you.
Ms. Van Tassel, the question again is, what is your opinion of the financial condition of the township?
Financial condition of the township is excellent. For those of you who can see this here in the studio, it shows that in 2007 we had greater revenues than expenditures. In 2008, in 2009, and 2010, expenses exceeded revenues. This year, and I was supervisor for the majority of 2011, we had revenues increase over expenditures by $1.3 million. I think we are in excellent fiscal shape, excellent economic, and a way to build on the future. And I look forward to working with people who've already been in talking to me about expanding their businesses here in the township.
Ms. Van Tassel, this next question goes to you to start. It says, very simply, please share with the residents of Orion Township your plan to bring more business opportunities.
Thank you. I appreciate the question. I've had the pleasure of serving on the Oakland County Business Finance Corporation for a number of years. I was with it from the inception, and this is an organization that provides and approves the Small Business Administration 504 loans. And through that program, we are able to provide financing to companies who want to expand. I am in conversation with a manufacturing outfit here who wants to more than double their plans, and their special assistant has gone so far as to invite me to meet with other people in his industry and get to know them and let them know of the opportunities we have here in town.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Barnett, again, the question is very simply, please share with the residents of Orion Township your plan to bring in more business opportunities.
Is it possible to have 2 minutes on this question and allow Ms. Van Tassel to have an additional minute?
There's going to be, we'd like to stick to it if we can.
All right, I'll try to be brief. First off, we need to have a plan. My background is in business. My background is not in the political spectrum. I understand it. I've served on the Planning Commission, but we need to have a plan. We need to work with the Orion Area Chamber of Commerce to actually set some metrics up to see how we're doing. Currently, we don't know. We don't know what our commercial vacancy rate is. I think that's unacceptable. We need to do a better job of telling our story. The first thing that communities look at when they come here and businesses is our website. Our website is a joke. I'm sorry. We need to get up to speed with what's out there and promote what we have. And I'd like to briefly tell 2 quick stories. I think the most important thing that the supervisor can do is listen to businesses and listen to people that are currently doing business in our community. We lost Pari Robotics, a small robotics firm that decided to move and grow into a different neighboring community, creating 15 high-tech jobs. We also apparently have lost Tien Hai Automotive, which was supposed to create 202 jobs on K Industrial Drive in an existing vacant building. That's unacceptable to me. I will not let that happen.
Mr. Barnett, do you know how much money the township has been paid by the operations at Eagle Valley?
I know that the host fee generates between $150,000 and $170,000 per year. I know with this agreement that Ms. Van Tassel supported the expansion last year, that there was some additional funds to come from that. I know that a lot of those funds were directed to this building that we sit in today and to Wildwood Amphitheater. But strictly regarding the tip fees, I believe it's in the neighborhood of $150,000 per year.
Okay. JoAnn Van Tassel, could you answer the question for us? How much money has the township been paid by the operations of Eagle Valley?
Well, Eagle Valley has been around for a number of years, and previous boards decided not to spend the host fee money and let it accumulate, and it accumulated to over $2.5 million, and that was the money used to build, not ONTV. ONTV had its own money, but it built the balance of this facility here known as the Orion Center, with the agreement that my predecessor, Supervisor Gibb, negotiated. The township will receive a guarantee of $175,000 in tipping fees each year. In addition, at the point in time a construction permit is granted by the state, there will be a one-time lump sum payment of about $850,000, and then there's other little monies that may come in from that.
Okay. Ms. Van Tassel, first to you. Has there been any evidence of pollution emanating from Eagle Valley?
Not that has been documented. There has been talk, there have been rumors, but of the studies that have been done, we have not documented. When Eagle Valley expanded, they put in an extensive leachate collection system. They pump it out. Back when Dick White was DPW director, they even Waste Management entered into an agreement with the township to treat the leachate and to put it into the Detroit sewer system. So because of the leachate collection system, there hasn't been any that I am aware of.
Okay. Mr. Barnett, are you aware of any evidence of pollution emanating from Eagle Valley?
Short answer, no. I have investigated some of those studies that Ms. Van Tassel referenced. I would just like to say on that issue, I know it's a hot button issue, and the way I would sum it up, and I don't have all the information, but to me that's a failure of leadership. My opponent here, Ms. Van Tassel, was on the committee that had all the information, made the motion to approve the expansion, and then once she became supervisor, spent the next 12 months basically trying to unravel all the work that this committee had done. So I think it's a horrible situation. I think that there's no winners in the situation. I can assure you that I will be completely upfront and open and transparent when it comes to future situations like this Eagle Valley.
Okay. Mr. Barnett, what type of formal education do you hold that qualifies you to be the Orion Township Supervisor?
Thank you. I went to Oakland Christian School in Auburn Hills. I was the 3.96. I got a full ride to Oakland University. I went to Oakland University. At the same time, I started my family. I have 3 daughters and a wife. Been married for 15 years. I started my career during that time, and I moved up the ranks of management in a small local business. And so I kind of learned, I have an education of Oakland University and Oakland Christian, but I also have 15 years experience in private sector management. I started a business. Part of that was negotiating contracts with national companies. I understand how budgets work. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Van Tassel, the question again was what type of formal education do you hold that qualifies you to be the Orion Township Supervisor?
My formal education is I'm a graduate bachelor's degree from the University of Alabama. When I was there, it was known as Bear Bryant University. And following college, I have taken courses at Oakland University. In addition, I am a graduate of the Honeywell Institute of Computer Sciences, or Information Technology as they call it. In addition, I have taken various courses offered through the Michigan Townships Association. I grew up in a family of small business people. Both my mother and my father owned their own business, so I have a lot of informal background. And I have been fortunate enough to work in the retail field, also in the for Campbell Ewald Advertising Agency, and bring a diverse background and experience to this job.
Thank you. Ms. Van Tassel, the your predecessor, Mr. Gibb, represented that the township earned a reputation of being anti-business or anti-development. Was he right?
I cannot speak to what the atmosphere was prior to Mr. Gibb, because at that time I was active in the village of Lake Orion as the manager there and concentrated my efforts there and worked to help bring new businesses into the downtown area, working with the Downtown Development Authority, the DDA. You know, I'll leave that to others to portray. I know we have a very open, welcoming atmosphere now at the township, just evidenced by the number of calls I'm getting on a regular basis. We have two companies coming in to talk to us tomorrow. I had two others on the phone setting up future appointments. So the feeling I'm getting from the business community is they realize we've got an open door, a welcoming attitude, and they're interested in doing business here in Orion.
Thank you. Mr. Barnett, again, Mr. Gibb represented that the township earned a reputation of being anti-business or anti-development. Was he right?
I've been on the Planning Commission, and what I can speak to is since last year, June, we've had 9 meetings and we've had 11 cancellations. I think most of us in this room and you at home realize what's going on in our local economy. We see business starting to rebound, unemployment rates are dropping. Unfortunately, that's not happening in Orion Township. Of those 9 meetings that we held, we talked to basically two businesses that were looking to come to Orion Township. That's not doing enough, in my opinion. Again, I think we need to take an innovative approach. If you look at some of the marketing material that Oakland County publishes, again, one of the most recognized counties in the United States for economic development, we are not included in any of those things. I kind of liken it to like we're a restaurant and we're open, but we don't advertise. Anybody knows if you're going to be in business, you need to advertise, you need to market yourself, and we don't. We have our open sign on the window and we expect people to come to us. Again, we have an incredible story to tell. We're in the lowest 10% of tax communities. It's cheaper to do business in Orion Township. We have incredible schools. We need to tell our story.
Hey, we try to keep our answers to 1 minute if we can.
Okay, I gotta look at the light.
Mr. Barnett, Lake Orion residents are confused about the community center. I'm trying to read somebody's handwriting, excuse me. Whom will this building serve? What will your plans be to promote this center to be successful?
It's a great question. The Orion Center, it's been an interesting topic. I would like to start by saying, in my opinion, what a disservice we've done to our senior community. We started with telling them we were going to build them a building somewhere on the 24 corridor. Things got delayed. It's my understanding this building is a year behind schedule, $1 million over budget, and I would just say that it's been a poor planned project. But going forward, I think we need to make this a place for the seniors like we originally planned. And I think we need to, I want it to be a place that the seniors can be proud of, but also all community members can be proud of. And we decided to set this up as a business where we have places, where we have people that can come in and use these facilities for a fee. So in turn, we need to run it like a business. If we have programs here that aren't working, that aren't generating revenue, that are costing us money, we need to get rid of them. So I really think we need to focus on treating this like a small business.
Thank you. Ms. Van Tassel, Lake Orion residents are confused about the community center. Whom will this building serve? What will your plans be to promote this center to be successful?
This community center, this Orion Center, was the dream of my predecessor. He was the one who set the plans in motion. This center is a community center for the whole community. During the day, the emphasis is on serving seniors, and they have a variety of classes and opportunities for them to come here, to socialize, to play cards, bingo, things like that. We will, now that our kitchen has been fully licensed by the County Health Department, be having the meals program here within the next couple of weeks as we make that transition. During the rest of the time, it's open to the community. There are dance classes, Zumba classes, yoga, other classes that are taught here that are available to everybody in the community. In addition, we have already booked a wedding reception for a prominent member of the community. So,
thank you. Ms. Van Tassel, what are the continuing costs for maintaining the center we are in tonight?
The continuing costs are the cost of maintaining any building once it's built, paying the heat and light bill. The intent was we knew that it would cost more than the current senior center because it's of a larger facility, more amenities to it. So there was a plan to charge a membership fee, a nominal fee to the seniors to use it. In addition, that then provides them with certain opportunities. Then there is a rental agreement that was established a couple of years ago that charges so much depending on what day of the week you are, what time of day, and so on. Those rates are competitive with others, and we hope as this building gets open and running that it will be, you know, a moneymaker for the community. That is the plan we're working towards.
Thank you. Mr. Barnett, what are the continuing costs for maintaining the center we are in tonight?
I don't have all the information that Ms. Van Tassel has, but I have early estimates and early feedback is that the costs are much higher than anticipated just for maintaining the building and the facilities. That's something, should I be elected on November 7th, I'd like to look into immediately and understand how this building operates and if we're running it effectively. I also just want to touch on the fact that, again, this community has made a decision that this was going to operate like a business, and we have a huge investment in this building. So again, we need this to be a place for seniors that they can be proud of, but we also need to be prepared to generate revenue. And unfortunately, the cart, again, seems like it's behind the horse, where we have certain community members that are able to use the facility. I understand we have a ribbon cutting this week, which is exciting, but we need to really be out in front of it. We knew this building was going to open. We need to make sure that it's accessible to everyone and not just the people that are on the inside. So,
Mr. Barnett, what are your projections for township finances over the next 4 years?
Great question. My projection is that we will increase our revenues. And how do we do that? Township can increase revenue basically 3 ways. We can cut costs. And the previous administrations have done a great job cutting costs. We can raise taxes. I'm completely against raising taxes. Or we can generate higher tax income through business. I'm going to put a large focus on the third. If we do that, it will have a windfall for everyone. Property values, if we bring high-tech, high-paying jobs to Orion Township, those people are going to bid on our houses. They're going to put their children in our schools. They're going to shop in our stores. So that's a high priority for me. And I think that where we start is on that south M24 corridor, where I think there's some low-hanging fruit. And I haven't bumped into one person in this community that says they like a vacant building. So I think that's a great place to start. So that's what I would do to try to build our economic forecast, along with cost-cutting measures once I assume the office.
Thank you. Ms. Van Tassel, what are your projections for township finances over the next 4 years?
Township financial position is very bright. We have new housing development that is on the drawing board. Upscale, single family, some senior housing in another part of the community. Construction on those is about a year away, quite frankly. But with that residential development comes increased commercial activity to our businesses that are here, and it creates a magnet for more business to come in. We have the only vacant industrial property that I am aware of is Ashley Capital on Silver Bell Road. There is one vacant building that has a prospective tenant, and we're just waiting for him to make the move, and that's Highlight, which is an automotive technical supplier. So,
thank you. Ms. Van Tassel, is there a role for privatization of services in the township government?
I don't know what we would privatize. Only got, you know, one custodian. It's not like we're maintaining a lot of buildings like the schools do. I think we have No, I really don't know that we could privatize anything there at the township, quite frankly. There is a service that I feel should be in-house that's currently not, but I don't want to tip my hand on that one right now and alert the people who might feel otherwise. So.
Mr. Barnett, is there a role for privatization of services in the township government?
Again, I go back to my business background, and when I started a business in 2000, when you actually operate something like a business, which I believe wholeheartedly the township is a business, we need to focus on it as a business and look at a profit and loss like a business. You need to look at everything. Again, I don't have the specific knowledge on the setup with the existing unions, and we need to look at every cost containment possible. But again, my main focus will be looking to increase revenue, cut costs where it makes sense. But I'm not going to say across the board I'm going to go in and make these crazy cuts, or changes.
Mr. Barnett, this next question is for you. Some of our existing businesses are still paying costs incurred in going through the township's approval gauntlet. Is it fair to give new competing businesses the advantage of a more relaxed set of rules?
One of the initiatives I'd like to start, and I will start, is a business roundtable. I want to talk to people that do business here. I want to talk to people that are looking to do business here. And from the people that do business here, I want to find out what was their experience like. What can we do to streamline the process? What can we do to make it a better process? What can we do to help serve their businesses now? To the new businesses, listen, we're in a different time and a different place. We need to be competitive. Our local surrounding communities are aggressively courting new business. We need to do the same thing. I heard rumors, I don't know as a fact, it's difficult to dig this stuff up, but a predecessor to Mr. Gibb, it was like a $1,200 fee just to get an appointment. I think that's ludicrous. I think we should set up people for success. I think we should, it's their money they're trying to invest in our community. We should try to do it, we need to do it smart and make sure they do the right things, but we should help it be simple and easy for them to invest in our community, not an arduous process.
Thank you. Ms. Van Tassel, some of our existing businesses are still paying costs incurred in going through the township's approval gauntlet. Is it fair to give new competing businesses the advantage of a more relaxed set of rules?
I can't speak to what happened in the past. I wasn't with the township. I know that we now offer, and I will give all the credit in the world to Mr. Gibb, who set it up, a free pre-application meeting. You come in, you want to do business in the township, we'll sit down with our planner, our engineer, the fire chief, the building official, and others. We will talk with you about your plans and how we can facilitate you coming into the township. A lot of the people who are taking advantage of that are people who are already doing business here and who want to expand their business, who want a second location, that type of thing. I can't speak to any burden that they may have had years before. I can't speak to that at all. I just know the welcome mat is out there, that there are businesses that are taking advantage of it, and I think we will continue in that mode.
Ms. Van Tassel, is the township likely to change ratios for providing health care coverage for its employees?
I don't even understand the question, but the township is committed to providing health care that is competitive with others at a cost that is affordable to the taxpayers of the township. We have a consultant that I introduced to the township a couple of years ago, who every single year is out there checking the figures and coming and saying, well, if you change from this carrier to that carrier, we can save money, and here's what it will provide. We've just finished negotiating a contract with a clerical union, which is a unit of the Teamsters, and we have been able to take those employees out of the Teamsters dental optical to a new dental optical that is practically identical and save $30,000. That's the way we will approach it.
Thank you. Mr. Barnett, is the township likely to change ratios for providing health care coverage for its employees?
I think there's some different ways to do this. At the end of the day, we are accountable to 35,000 people. There's 35,000 residents. It's their tax dollars. It's our tax dollars that are being spent. I can tell you in my own house, we've taken a unique approach to healthcare, and we've saved some money. So it's, again, unique times. I understand what's happening with healthcare rates. I don't know the specifics of the union negotiations because, again, I'm not part of those negotiations. But I am open to looking at the most cost-effective way to do things, and at sometimes there might be people that are working for the township might have to put some skin in the game. But I think there might be some unique ways to not necessarily take away, but to look at some other programs to save money for the community.
Thank you. This is a question, Mr. Barnett, for you from the audience regarding the Wildwood Pavilion. Please share your plan regarding having this mini DTE venue be an asset to our community. Will you charge? Will you employ our own residents or contract a management company to run it?
Okay, Wildwood. I think it's an awesome asset that we now have in our community. Again, it's another program that I think that we got the cart way in front of the horse. I hate the comment. I don't like that we're calling it a mini DTE. I don't think that we have any right trying to compete and bring money or concerts for fee at that site at this time. We're just not set up for it. I would like to see it used. I'd like to see it open to all members of our community, and I know the board acted on it recently to my urging, because I had several different groups in the community that are trying to use the facility but couldn't get to it. So I'd like to see us start out using it for the community. And again, we could look at potentially selling some advertising. I would take a different approach than the current board, where they went to a private person and basically wrote a $25,000 no-bid contract to promote the facility, and we got no return on the investment. Wildwood needs to be looked at, needs to be investigated, and I plan to do that once I'm in office.
Thank you, Mr. Barnett. Ms. Van Tassel, I'll read the question again. Please share your plan regarding having this mini DTE venue be an asset to our community. Will you charge? Will you employ our residents or contract a management company to run it?
It depends on the expertise. One, it is open to everybody in the community. Just less than a week ago, a lady who teaches piano lessons here rented it to put on her recital. Now, there are certain expenses that go in maintaining any facility. So there was a small fee that was charged for her to that. Very comparable to what the Orion Library charges. Now, if they're going to need extra things like light, a sound system that we don't currently have there now, then yes, we'd have to charge for that. I have a veterans group that wants to come in the weekend after Labor Day and put on a show there, a concert, and a chili cook-off and some other things like that. So we are working with people. Depending on the expertise that's needed, we'll hire as many local people as possible. But if they don't have the expertise to run the sound and light system, then you'll have to go to the people who can do it.
Ms. Van Tassel, what are your thoughts concerning the Water Sewer Fund?
The Water Sewer Fund is in very good condition because years ago we hired a consultant called Bob Benzinski who said you need to put away a certain sum of money every year as a reserve for future repairs. And so there was money set aside in the water fund and in the sewer fund to take care of that, also to pay for expansion. Because over time that money has accumulated and we've earned interest on it, we have been able to not charge the full rate that we get from Detroit. Sometimes we just pass through the actual, we haven't added on an operating fee, but right now the Water and Sewer Fund is spending more to provide the service than we are taking in revenue, and we are making it up the difference out of our reserve balance there.
Okay. Thank you. Mr. Barnett, what are your thoughts concerning the Water Sewer Fund?
The Township Board just voted to increase rates on water and sewer I think it was at the meeting 2 meetings ago. I have a problem with that personally because the Water and Sewer Fund has between $53 and $54 million in it as we speak. At the same time, as a lot of you have noticed, if you drive around the community, we have a water storage facility. I guess you don't call them water towers anymore, but we have a water tower being built on Brown Road. When that whole project kicked off, we were told it would potentially save us about 25% on our rates once it's online. It's my understanding that project's close to becoming online. I'm not sure why we would be increasing rates. I do understand we have subsidized. The township has not passed on the full cost of water and sewer the past several years, which I think is great because we have $53 million in taxpayer money in that fund. I also think we need to use some of it. 23 million of that 53 is allocated for repairs. We have $30 million for capital improvement. There's communities in Orion that don't have city water. I think we should spend some of it and increase the potential for people to tap into city water.
I'd like to interrupt right now and make one correction. The Water and Sewer Fund is an enterprise fund and money only is in it by people who are on the system. There is not one single penny of taxpayer dollar, never has been. There are no taxpayer dollars in the Water and Sewer Fund.
Correct, but I would like to respond to that.
Okay.
I should say $53 million of everyone who is on water and sewer. That's our money. So I take that back. If we have $53 million sitting there of our money, I think that that's a huge amount. I think that it's too much. And I think that we should actually do what that fund is there for and put the money in pipes in the ground so that people can connect to the infrastructure of city water and sewer. I heard there's communities off Indianwood Road that had found arsenic in their wells. That's what the money's there for. Let's build out the system and allow people to tap into it.
Thank you. This is a write-in question. I'm not sure what the source is. It says, I have heard that the township has a large reserve of property tax money. Are you for returning this money to the taxpayers? I think it's Mr. Barnett.
I don't know where the reserve would be. There's only about $59,000 budgeted to be in the general capital improvement fund at the end of the year. If the question is referring to water and sewer, we have about $930,000 in the fire capital fund and about $1.6 million in the safety path capital improvement fund. So I'm not totally sure if maybe that question was potentially directed to the millions of dollars in the water and sewer. So,
Ms. Van Tassel, do you know anything about a large reserve of property tax money?
No, all I know is that when I became supervisor, I said, we're going to go out for written bids, sealed bids on everything. We got a policy in the township that was adopted years ago that says, well, you don't need sealed bids until you go for over $20,000. At the county, it's $5,000. I said, we're going out for sealed bids on everything. We'll let people know that there's competition. We probably saved 20% in bidding out the fertilization services this year. I know we saved money when we bid out fixing the fencing at Friendship Park to make it easier for emergency vehicles to get into the site. We have made similar stuff. That's how come this year we now have a $1.3 billion fund balance in the general fund instead of a $500,000 deficit as we had in the preceding 2 years.
Thank you. Ms. Van Tassel, what do you believe is the single most important issue facing Orion? What have you done in the last year to address the issue?
I think the issue that is that's most critical is getting maximum value for every taxpayer dollar spent. I had the privilege of serving with Harold Gingell, who was a trustee for a number of years. And Uncle Harold, as I called him, said, it doesn't matter what your income is, it matters what your outgo is. And so I have paid particular attention to the outgo and made sure we have gotten maximum value for the dollars that are spent. That way we have money available to meet the needs of the people. I have the people from Lake Orion Youth Baseball League coming. We need more fields. We don't have enough fields. I have the soccer people. We need more fields. Well, these things just don't appear by magic. You got to make plans for them. We're in the process of doing that right now. I have always believed that it is up to the township to provide the facilities for recreational activities, and then you let the citizens of the town, the parents, run the programs.
Thank you. Mr. Barnett, what do you believe is the single most important issue facing Orion, and what have you done in the last year to address the issue?
Right. I think the most important issue that we can make the biggest impact that would affect every person in this community is some of the economic development things that I've talked about, and specifically some low-hanging fruit with Medical Main Street, tapping into what Oakland County has to offer, and with the new William Beaumont School of Medicine. I think that'll help our school system, I think it'll help our housing values, and I think it'll create jobs for people that actually can stay in the community. But equally, and I haven't really talked much about this, is I really think that we need to have better community engagement. And I've spent a lot of time the past year working on that. In the past few years, I'm the vice president of the Orion Optimist Club. I am very involved in Kensington Community Church. I've been involved in a whole bunch of different things. I was a commissioner of Lake Orion Girls Softball League. The bottom line is there's such pride in this community and people want to be involved, except when it comes to the township. You can go to any other community event and there's swarms of people. Unfortunately, the township has kind of gotten a reputation of the good old boys club, and it's kind of become exclusive. And I'm not directing that to anyone in particular, but that's something I'm going to change. Specifically, I'm going to start a program for the students at Lake Orion High School, a youth and government program. We're going to kick that off as soon as we possibly can. I will have open office hours so that any person can come talk to me, and I see the lights on, and
thank you.
I'll finish this later. Thank you.
This is another question from the audience. I'm going to do the best I can to read this. Will you Mr. Barnett, will you identify for us what past governmental experience and background you have to head our township?
Okay, I think that's the positive side to me. I don't have a lot of governmental experience. Like I said, I was on an executive board for 13 years of a successful company in Southeast Michigan. I served as a vice president of that company. I chaired weekly executive board meetings. I understand how meetings work. I've been on the planning commission. Again, I think that it's important to understand how that works. I don't, in my opinion, think it's the most important job of the supervisor. To me, the most important job of the supervisor is to set the direction, empower the people, and allow them to do what they're supposed to do. So I do have the experience capable to do this job. I don't have a lot of government experience, but I think that might be a good thing.
Ms. Van Tassel, this may be repetitious for you, but will you identify for us what past governmental experience and background you have to head our township?
I have, let's see, about 8 years experience as a township trustee, 13 years experience as a township supervisor, 8 years experience as a village manager. In addition, I served 10 years on the Michigan Township Association's Board of Directors and on their Legislative Policy Committee for 8 years. And that's in addition to the business experience that I have. And I've thoroughly enjoyed working with the people and look forward to continuing to do so. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Van Tassel, what is your plan to engage the youth of Orion in order to grow their leadership skills for the future success of Orion Township?
That is something that I have talked with Mrs. Giannopoulos, who's our superintendent of schools, about. I've taken her a couple of programs that I think engage the students in hands-on activity that has a historical perspective to it. The youth of this community is really the bailiwick of the school district, and I would work through the school district to engage students. As a member of the Orion Neighborhood Television, I think I have talked with Mrs. Giannopoulos and said, you've got to make greater use of the government channel that we have here. I said, you need to spend more time with the robotics program, that first program. We give a lot of attention to the athletes. Now let's recognize the academic side of things. Let's get the students involved. And Roger Smith is taking steps to engage the students that way. Thank you.
Mr. Barnett, what is your plan to engage the youth of Orion in order to grow their leadership skills for the future success of Orion?
I touched on this a little bit in my last answer, but our success depends on the youth of this community. It depends on the youth of our community growing up, having a great childhood here, but staying here, planting roots, and doing business here. I have a plan. I will implement this plan. We have some incredible youth. One of the other hats I wear is I'm the PTO president at the high school, and I'm very involved in school activities at all levels. And the youth in this community have a strong voice. They have the same pride for our community that we do. And unfortunately, they haven't had a place to let that be heard. That's going to change. We are going to start a youth in government program. How it's going to roll out, I don't know, but we are going to involve them in the process. We're going to go to the schools. We're going to work hand in hand to make them have a voice. It's my opinion that if we do that now, if we start them now, not only will they have pride in our community, but they can have pride in our local government. So that will happen.
Thank you. Mr. Barnett, I'm again going to try to read this. It's a rather long question. Given the ever-changing, fast-paced tempo of cyber marketing and technologies, how would you market Orion Township to new business enterprise entrepreneurs to entice them to make Orion a place to open a business?
Right. That's a great question. I touched on our website earlier, and no disrespect to whoever came up with that website. It was probably good when it first started, but it's so out of date. And that's the first thing that people look at when they come to a community. I would challenge each one of you, if you didn't move here and live here originally, one of the first things you probably did when you relocated was looked at our website and looked at our presence. We need to update that. It's my understanding that the website, we paid a lot of money for a website to be redesigned and done. I don't know when it's going to launch. I thought it was going to be a year ago, but that's something we need to do. We have some, again, touching on the students, I'm not totally adept to some of the social media things, but there are some incredible tools that we can use not only to reach out to our businesses and to people coming to our community, but also promote what we have here in Orion Township, and that will be a big part of what I do as Township Supervisor.
Thank you. Ms. Van Tassel, I'm going to try to read again. Given the ever-changing, fast-paced tempo of the cyber marketing and technologies, how would you market Orion Township to new business entrepreneurs to entice them to make Orion a place to open a business?
I think what you have to do is, first of all, have a community that welcomes business. And I think you tell your story on the media. I agree that our website is not what it should be, but I wasn't a part of making the decision as to how to go about it. That is an item that needs to be revisited, and it is on the to-do list, but the priorities, quite frankly, were getting this Orion Center up and operating, getting the kitchen fully licensed and passed by the health department so that we've got a fully functioning facility here. And so that is something that we will be pursuing with people who have a talent in that area to assist us.
Thank you. Ms. Van Tassel, this will be the last question, and I'm going to take a little liberty and suggest that as much as we still have some time left, that after this question we'll give each of an opportunity to make a summary for another 2 minutes, if that's okay.
Great.
Ms. Van Tassel, what is your vision for the next 10 years? How do you plan to get us there?
Vision for the next 10 years is to enhance Orion Township as a place where living is a vacation. We are blessed with a tremendous amount of natural resources. We are blessed with people who are active in the community. As I said, the Township one needs to provide the facilities for these people. You know, this is a great place to live, to shop, to do business, to earn a living. And my vision is that we continue to enhance the opportunities that are here by working with people and helping them make a success out of what it is they do, whether they are in business or whether they are a resident.
Mr. Barnett, what is your vision for the next 10 years, and how do you plan to get us there?
Well, my vision for the next 10 years is a thriving community. I think we're sort of on the right path. I think we have a lot of steps that we can take to get there. And it starts with telling our story. Again, we have 27 lakes. We have acres of parkland. We have award-winning schools. We're located in a great place. We have this incredible tax advantage that no one talks about. We have the small town pride, but we're not too small. So how do we get there? We tell our story. We get out there and we explain to people that are coming here what we're about. But we also, in turn, it helps our community members. It helps the people that are invested here to not only feel like they can make a difference in their local clubs and activities, but also at a community level. I think, again, a big part of that is bringing the beauty of our lakes and our trails to our gateways. If you drive up M24, in my opinion, it's kind of embarrassing. When you drive into our community, it doesn't look nice. So that's something I think we need to address. And again, we can do that if we can increase some revenue. Thank you.
Thank you. I think we started with Mr. Barnett, so JoAnn, would you like to give us a quick summary, a couple of minutes?
Thank you, Mr. Porritt. Appreciate it. Appreciate the opportunity that's been afforded us by the Orion Area Chamber of Commerce and by ONTV in putting on this candidates forum. And I'd just like to thank everybody who has come and participated here as part of the audience or at the at-home audience who has sent in questions. I've lived here for 36 years, founding member of the Orion Arts Center. At one time was more active than I am now in Friends of the Orion Library. I'm currently chair of the North Oakland Transportation Authority, which provides transportation to seniors, handicapped, and people seeking transportation to work. Also serve on the Pollyant Trail Management Council. Am a longtime member of the Orion Veterans Memorial and very proud to say we have completed the construction of it. Now it's a matter of maintaining it. I am actively working with the Lake Orion Youth Baseball League to help them find a place to build 4 additional ball fields. I've been in contact with the soccer league and have expressed interest in finding room for additional soccer facilities. These are growing activities. At the same time, we're looking to add to our safety path system so that people, whatever their stage of development is, whether they're actively out there running around and playing games and things like that, or are more leisurely in it, or just want to sit and relax at a fine facility like the Orion Center, I'm just happy to say I've been a part of it. I want to continue to be a part of it, and I encourage everybody to get out and vote on Tuesday, August the 7th, and I would very much appreciate your support. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Barnett?
Thank you. Thank you to the Orion Area Chamber and to ONTV for hosting this forum. It's been a real pleasure to get in front of a lot of you, not just tonight, but over the past several months and in the next coming months. I just want to start out by I have a lot of respect for Ms. Van Tassel. We've served on some committees together, but I do want to just contrast what I think is a very important contrast. It's leadership style. And what Ms. Van Tassel said is about the website is once we take this off the list, we can work on that. And I actually have a different approach to that. I think if we have the right people in place, we empower them to do their jobs. I don't think that everything needs to go through the supervisor's office. I think that's a very ineffective way to do things at a township level. Again, I'm very involved in the community. I have my wife Julie, my 3 daughters, Rachel, Sydney, and Addison. We've lived here their whole lives, and we plan on staying here their whole lives. And again, I guess I would just say this. I think I represent the future of Orion. And I don't say that because it's about me, because this election isn't about me. It's not about Chris Barnett. It's about what Orion Township will look like in 10 years. And again, I appreciate Ms. Van Tassel's service to our community. In 1992, she was our supervisor, and the township chose to go a different direction. In 2007, she was the village manager, and the village chose to go a different direction. No disrespect to her. I just feel like it's time for our community to go into a different direction. I'll lead with enthusiasm, I'll lead with vigor, and I'll lead with integrity, and I would really appreciate your vote on August 7th, your support. If you vote for me, truly it will be a vote for Orion's future, and I expect and want each and every one of you to be involved, and I mean that. It's not a campaign promise, it is what I'm about. So thank you very much, and thank you for your time.
Thank you both. I want to thank all the candidates for their participation tonight, and thank you all for coming. Alaina?
We want to thank each and every candidate who is here tonight for your passion and commitment to Orion Township, as demonstrated by your willingness to serve in an elected position. It's no easy task, and we wish you all the best of luck. Please, as was mentioned before, don't forget to vote on Tuesday, August 7th. Because all of these candidates are running as Republicans, this election will be decided on August 7th. So it's very important that you vote in the primary and not wait for the general. So on behalf of the Orion Area Chamber of Commerce, thank you for tuning in.